Okay, what I want to do now is talk about how to get the UVs going to the next stage. I've got the quarter of my model done. I'm happy with it. I've added the symmetry around it, make sure everything's clean, and I'm very happy where it's at. I'm not far off from going into the chamfer mode or chamfering stage to get the high poly set up. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and attack the UVs. So with my model set up, I've got some islands that I probably could find a home pretty easily. And so that's kind of stuff I want to work on. The idea is to not work on the islands when I have all my UVs in one big space, because that's going to be a lot of time that you can spend doing a little bit more effectively. So at that, flip it. This is not where I want to work on the UVs. This is a lot of work, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that I don't need to worry about. So I go ahead and set this up to flatten this all out. There's a lot of halves here that I need to deal with. If I leave it like this, I'm going to have some reverse letters, which are going to be, in my ADD mind I can read it, but not everyone has ADD. So let's go backwards and talk about what we're going to do. So we've fixed the UVs. Let's get one symmetry on here. I'm just doing half, and I want to talk about getting this face done. So let's get the unwrap on there. So what I can do here is I got, everything's overlap, and I need to be careful with that. So if I go back to the checker pattern, you can see that checker. Let's do the texture checker. There we go. C1 is backwards. We need to fix that. That's because I mirrored it, and then the UVs just got stacked on top of the mirroring. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn off the ignore back facing so I can select all the faces. I'm just going to select all the brand new polygons I just created with that symmetry tool. Deselect the ones I don't need. Let's turn that off. And from there, I have these here. I'm going to slide these over, and I'm just going to mirror it. Now, go back into this texture checker. My letters are aligned properly. And so now I can fix everything in here. And I'm going to go in and just stitch all the front faces and get that taken care of. The real easy way to do that, I can pretty much do this in here, I believe. That's the front. There's the front. So slide that over. I have the element toggle on. If I click on that, it'll select the element. If I double click, it'll just select the actual ring, which will help me stitch. I'll do that with everything else. It's going to be a tedious process, so hang with me. I like to often work also with this window open so I can see in here where the actual objects are and how they all line up. So like here, I want to get those set up. Go here, select this one, and slide this over here. Go to edge mode. Stitch selected. Sometimes you'll get an angle like this, and that's okay. What I'm going to do here, I want to flatten that out. That weird angle is coming from the fact that the projection when I did the actual flatten mapping. So let's turn select by element off. We'll go to vertex mode, and we'll go ahead and line it up. Goes to edge mode, stitch selected, and we're clean. Alright, so the idea is to go ahead and clean this up half by half, and then when I get to a certain level I'm happy, I'll throw the next level symmetry on there and start addressing the next set of faces, which will be the ones on the side here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to that next stage. Let's double check. Oh yeah, let's do this next one first. I can select this edge here as well. Here and here. And I can come in here and hit stitch selected. If I get another one of those funky angles, I'll address it by undoing it and lining up the verts. See, I like the way that's set up. I may do the same thing here. Yeah, let's do that. Stitch selected. Now the neat thing is that as I'm doing this, I can do bigger pieces and smaller pieces a lot cleaner and a lot more efficient way. Got it. getting to a point we're almost done. Let's repack it. Because this object is going to be a different material than this object, I'm not going to weld them in the UV space. I'm going to leave them separate. Makes things a little bit easier to handle. This edge, this one's done, right? That one's done. Looks like I'm moving on to the next step. Because we haven't built any bitmaps yet, this stage is real easy. All right, so I hit collapse because I want to keep it all into the data. Great. If I really wanted to, I could probably get rid of this edge. But since polygon count is not that important on this project, I'm not too worried about it. Go back and add another symmetry. And now we're going to deal with this side, and the fact that this front and back are both mirrored on top of each other in the UV space. Go to UV coordinates, go to unwrap, go to open editor, and we can do a quick test. As expected, we got some mirroring, not a problem. By closing the UV editor window, it'll turn off the actual image in the actual viewport, which hurts my eyes after a while. I go in here, I can just, again, select the new polygons again, just like we did last time. Show all these. Right, I turn back face off so I can grab everything. Slide it on over here and flip. Alright, now I'll start welding up the seams. That's basically how I would actually handle something with this much mirroring and complexity. Alright. As I weld, I stack. Tedious, but effective. I'll just go through the process and weld everything up, get it all connected, get all the small pieces set up, and I'm ready for substance. And that's the idea of how I would do a complex object that's symmetrical. Let the software do the work. Collapse it. Thanks.